Mario Strickland, proud superintendent of the Mount Vernon City School District, and I want to welcome you to one of four sessions regarding our 2026-2027 budget. I will say that this session, as well as next week, is very similar to what I presented at the board meeting, and it is a result of my survey that I put out to the community to capture your voices and to really understand what the priorities are from the stakeholders for our students for the next year, okay? At the end, feel free to come up and ask questions. We need to use the mic because it is a live stream, which is why I think people decided to stay in. It's real cold. It's cold outside. Even though I'm from Buffalo, I don't know what's going on here, but this is getting in my bones. All right, so 2 months ago, I gave a survey out that I encouraged all stakeholders to complete. And as you could see, parents and guardians made up a large portion of that survey. We had over 1,000 respondents and staff coming in second. We also asked for advice from our students. We opened it up to the community, and also we had a category for other. And you could see at the bottom, we do have percentages that are next to the grade bands for the students. We also captured the breakdown of participation. We wanted to know where were the responses coming from. As you could see here, the majority, God bless you, the majority of the responses actually came from Mount Vernon High School, followed by STEAM Academy. And we have the counts, again, just to find out where the voices are coming from so that we know who we are really hearing from. Where is the largest sample size? In addition, something that is worth noting, 138 Mount Vernon residents were number 3 on the list, which is going to be very important because ultimately this is a budget that I will own, I will present, and ultimately has to be voted on by the residents of the community. Not sure why that is, so I apologize. The title at the top says, changes to programs, services, and/or activities we would like to see, or we would like the district to consider for the 2026-2027 preliminary budget. First, there was a need for educational support and extracurricular activities like after-school programs for special education and gifted students. But I would open that up and broaden it and say it's for all students. Increasing access to tutoring was very important to our community to help with support in reading and math, followed by the need, which I, believe me, hear loud and clear, for improved technology and resources. We need to replace our outdated equipment, which there is a lot of outdated equipment throughout the district. I've visited every school more than once, and I cannot tell you the amount of equipment that is just no longer usable, that's just sitting, and really it's not safe for our children to even be in the vicinity with. And then smaller class sizes and increased staffing were noted as well. What should the district prioritize in the 26-27 budget? These were the top 5 items. I definitely also agree, and I am happy because I actually advocated in Albany, and most of those were up there. Reading specialists, mental health services are extremely important. Technology, building upkeep, playground equipment, So I'm advocating for capital funds from our legislators so that we actually have additional funds to actually bring our buildings up to 21st century standards. And there was a request for math specialists. Considering where we are in terms of the data with math, I do see a large need to have math specialists in our elementary buildings. Here were some other priorities in those percentages. So even though these aren't the highest, they still rose to a high level. So you see STEM. How are we going to bring STEM into our schools and let it be a part of our programs? That's going to be very important. For our after-school program that will set to begin rather soon, there will be a STEM component after school. There's items that are being purchased in animation and robotics, and it's exciting to see what our students are going to be experiencing. Arts and music, of course, without a question. Collective bargaining agreements. So currently all of the CBAs are out of date. Hopefully we are very, very soon going to settle one. But the need to plan and place money aside or in the budget for next year is going to be incredibly important, because my hope is that at the end of next year, all of our collective bargaining agreements will be current. Universal pre-K, we know that we have a need for pre-kindergarten 3 seats. The allocation that we currently have is not sufficient. That was also a large point that I advocated in Albany for, to raise that funding so that we don't have so many pre-K 3 students that are on the wait list. Athletics, very important to this community as well as others. Advanced placement, instructional support, gifted and talented programs, bilingual classes, and school-specific programming such as International Baccalaureate and Montessori. Those last 2 components, International Baccalaureate and Montessori, are specialty programs that are within schools that I would like to see in our district, and they were a part of our legislative priorities that was advocated for and will continue to be advocated for in Albany. So I didn't do this when we had the other document, but budget priority categories, infrastructure and facilities. There's several concerns about the physical state of buildings with specific mentions of overdue repairs and security issues. Yes, this is true. I'm glad Trustee Brown, who's the chairperson for our facilities committee, is here because that rose to a high level. And believe me, this is something that I just met with Commissioner Rosa, Assemblyman Pretlow of the Ways and Means Committee, Senator Bailey, Senator Mayer, and I just explained that we definitely are in need for more funding for our buildings. I mean, yes, the space has to improve in order for learning outcomes to also improve. Building upkeep and playground equipment, top priority, 42%. Heating and cooling, especially now, climate change is real. We don't have enough insulation in some of our infrastructure to actually keep it cool even when the heat is on. So now that's money that's seeping out of the door and it's not doing its purpose, and that in turn creates larger costs. And then improving playgrounds and science labs. Budget priority categories, educational programs. We need more educational offerings, bilingual classes. Currently, we only offer an ENL only program. We are now in violation of Part 154 regulations, as we don't have a true bilingual program. So that means we are going to need to create one, that option at the very least, because the one language that actually exceeds the numbers across the district is Spanish. Whether it be one-way dual language or two-way dual language, that is going to actually need to require your input from the community. Two-way dual language is when you actually have English-speaking students on one side, Spanish-speaking students on the other side, and there's intermingling throughout the day with both of those sets of students. You get bilingualism on both sides. Our Spanish-speaking students will begin fluent in English, and our English-speaking students are fluent in Spanish. But at the very least, we are going to need to offer a one-way dual language pathway in which we strengthen the first language, the L1, of our students, that being Spanish, in order for them to acquire the English language better. You can't learn the language if you don't know your own language fluently. Reading specialists and math specialists, again, I told you that is going to be a priority of mine, considering the scores that we have in math. Math is a struggle nowadays, and this is throughout the state, throughout the country. We've seen after COVID, math scores just plummet. So we are going to need additional resources in our classrooms to support our students mathematically. Bilingual classes, 29%. And finally, bringing back programs such as Atlas. Yes, I get an email about this probably once a week about bringing back the Atlas program. We have to prioritize academic programming, okay? So one of the things, in the event that I have to cut anything, I'm gonna stay far away from the academics, okay? That's what you have to do when you are budgeting. Academics is the last thing to go. So Atlas is definitely a high priority to be reinstated for the 26-27 school year here in Mount Vernon. They also brought up robotics, and I said, some of these things we can get through after-school programming, some of it we'll be able to offer it during the school day with the resources that are going to be coming in. Budget priority, staff and teacher support. Of course, fair compensation was big time listed, 45%. It's a top priority. It is a top priority of mine as well. So again, hopefully by the end of this year, we'll at least have 2 CBAs that are ratified. And next year, I will then dedicate to the last 2 that needs to be brought into good standing. We have to invest in staff retention. Heard loud and clear. I also brought this information up with the legislator. Even with our folks in school buildings that have the best cultures, they're being poached out and they're going to other places because of the compensation. And I flat out told the commissioner and our legislators, I can't compete. I cannot compete. Great school culture alone doesn't work if the compensation is not substantial to our neighborhoods, okay, our suburban partners. So, looking at coming up with a comprehensive professional development program that's being currently worked on, and that has to be an extensive 3-year program for our city school district. And we need to first start with training administrators, then training our teachers and support staff so that they are effective with their instruction in the classroom, or as effective as they can be. This is really jacked up. Ooh. So it doesn't do this until you do full screen mode. I just want you to know, okay? Extracurricular activities, after school programs, again, soon to start. This will not happen next year. We will be starting at a normal time to get students into a routine, help families with the after-school care. There is a ask for, let me see, sports, arts, clubs, after-school programs. Athletics rated the highest at 27%. So we would like to actually extract athletics, and that actually will be a portion of the budget book that shows you what our expenditures are towards athletic programming. Technology. So second to Atlas, no, actually first, I get one email probably every other day about technology. And yes, the rollout this year has a lot to be desired. I am proud to say, just to give you all an update, that we have received 800 new devices, brand new devices, that will be deployed to our 9th graders. Then we're going to look at their devices, if they have them, and then redeploy those out, the good working ones, to those individuals that do not have them. So hopefully this will be it, with everyone having a device, especially because, I'm sorry, the groundhog saw his shadow today. So you know that's 6 more weeks. And I'm a little sad about it. I woke up, saw that sun, I'm like, uh-oh, he's gonna see it, and he did. But we know that there's a possibility we may need to go remote, because right now, we are right at the threshold of 180 days of school. In the event that there's another storm, and I just have a feeling, sorry, we would need to use a remote day. That means the school's open, but the building isn't, just so that we don't have to take away from people's planned vacations, okay? That's gonna be very, very important. Partnerships with tech companies, introduction of coding, that's actually one of the items that are gonna be represented in after school in some buildings, and AI clubs to prepare students for future careers. I was actually happy that this came up, because a lot of people aren't talking about AI the way they should, and there is a need to really start thinking about what AI can do to support the learning of our students, instead of looking at it as a negative thing, okay? And technology can enhance learning experiences and should be prioritized, and that definitely will be the case. What should the district invest into improve learning, student learning? We need to enhance literacy and math programs. And I was already talking with my assistant soup, and thank you to all my cabinet and some principals and staff that are here. We have to do a major curriculum audit, okay? We have to do a curriculum audit to make sure that our curriculum is guaranteed and viable. And it sets the tone for all students across the district. If I was a student that lived on the north side, and then all of a sudden I moved to the south side and I am right across the street from the school, I should be able to just pick up and learn exactly what it is that I was learning where I was. I currently cannot say that that's happening across the board. So the best way to do it is to audit the curriculum as a whole, and then start planning for how we are going to phase in new curriculum, new training and professional learning for our staff, so that they can deliver these high quality instructional tools to our students. Other improvements: updated technology, smaller class sizes, expanded after school, improved mental health. We haven't talked a lot about that. That's been another advocacy piece. I've been advocating for more robust mental health supports, because we know that our students need us a little bit more than in the past. I would love to eventually see us make investments in telehealth in every school at the very least. And if even better, I would like school-based clinics in all of our schools. However, we're not there yet because that takes money. Increased parent engagement, specialized support with students with disabilities, and CTE. And those, again, are a part of the legislative priorities that I've been advocating to New York State about. Then I was just asking, what other information would you like us to know as we develop the budget? Emphasis on improving teacher retention, definitely noted. I wish I had the fund balance that I had when I was in a previous district, because that is something that I definitely would invest in, trying to say, hey, you stay the whole year, you get this money at the end of the year, this additional sum, because that's what districts are doing to retain talent. Yet I can't do that, not with our current fiscal challenges. High turnover rates. I'm addressing it culturally, but also that you need to address it financially as well. Adequate staffing, particularly in special education. And we've done a lot of work with our continuum, and I have to thank our Director of Data Compliance, Dana Garner, for her work with updating the curriculum so that we are really streamlining how we deliver services. We think and we feel it's very important that we offer a least restrictive environment setting in every school. So we have to have the belief that students can move from self-contained classrooms into consultant teaching or integrated co-teaching. Enhanced science programs, early literacy initiatives, and mental health services. Science programs, I've been looking at the science program that we currently offer, and I have a lot of suggestions. It seems more supplemental than actual core curriculum. However, that is going to be found in our curriculum audit, what actually we decide to use. And I will say, when we adopt a new curriculum, that will be a large stakeholder community. Parents will have the opportunity to come in and weigh in and look at the materials. I want students to come in and look at the materials. I want teachers to test the materials to see if it helps support what they need to do in schools, and students. Do they like it? That's what we'll do before we make decisions on adoptions of curriculum materials. Concerns about resource management and facilities. Facilities really is raising almost like number one. Call for transparency, accountability, and community involvement in budget decisions. This was step one, everyone. So anybody that responded to the survey, I applaud you, I appreciate it. We did robocalls, sorry, it was every single day. But I was really trying to get the feedback of the community so that we could actually say, your voice is in this. Like, I'm really needing you to help me make decisions on what you feel is best for our students. Focus on equitable supports with all students, including those with disabilities, advanced learners, and I would say our English language learners. Almost there. Budget calendar. So there are quite a few items that are being done. February 2nd, which is today, we're meeting with the community. We're going to actually have another one that is next week, Monday at Mount Vernon High School. Wanted to do one on both sides of town. We have to have a balanced budget by the end of this month, okay, to our state monitor. I'm almost there, but I'm not there. So I got a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do to make sure that we produce a balanced budget. Then the monitor gives her comments. We decide, what I would like to do is, I know from year to year there will always be a gap because state aid generally, minimally goes up, okay? This year we're seeing hopefully a bump of 2.66%, but that's only the first governor's run. So we can't rely on that run because those numbers drastically change from now until the time that the legislature votes on the budget. Then, I would have to decide, how am I gonna reduce the budget gap? And then finally, we then bring it to you all after we have the hearings, which, it's on display, and you would then vote for the budget on, May 19th. So May 19th is the budget vote day at the various locations throughout our community. And with that being said, that's it. I know people are gonna have questions, but here's a QR code. You could scan it with your phone. What do you feel that we are possibly missing? Okay, this is your time to for me to incorporate your data, your voice, to help support this budget process. So I'm gonna consistently be doing this. Now again, next week, feel free to come and see my wonderful face, but it'll be a similar presentation minus the, I'm gonna fix the font pieces. But the budget sessions 3 and 4, that's when I will be presenting more numbers and actuals as to where are the enhancements for the 2026-2027 budget. And with that being said, I'm here for your questions. Remember, you have to come up for the mic. Am I doing something? Oh, I'm good. You have to come up for the mic because it is live stream, and if you happen to ask a question and someone is watching, I want them to hear your question if they have the same one, so that we can be sure to get 2 ducks with 1 stone. So, anyone?
Will you be answering questions tonight?
Yes, I can answer questions tonight. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm well, I'm tired.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Oh, you taking the podium? Okay, yes.
Just a couple questions. First, thank you for the transparency.
Yes, sir.
Right, for this in-person Q&A, something that we definitely need. One question was about the surveys with the 138 community members that responded.
Yes.
Is there a breakdown of the community members? Meaning parent, guardians, or just community members as a whole? Because we know the community members who pay taxes are very important.
Yes.
However, just asking, not to put you on the spot, but I wanted to know how many parents
Yes.
and guardians are involved in this
Sure.
survey?
So I could just answer that really quick. So as you could see, we had 488 parents and guardians respond to the survey.
Okay.
And then we could not necessarily delineate that information because if they were attached to specific schools, then their tally mark goes to that school. However, right now, the thought exchange item that we use to collect the information cannot delineate that clearly as of right now.
Right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Reason I asked that is just because that number is important.
Yes.
That's the number that needs to grow.
Yes, yes.
Thank you as well. I don't have many questions, but I got a few.
It's okay.
How does the closing of the schools affect the budget? Closing of the 2 schools, how does that affect our decision-making?
Yes. So there's actually 3 schools that were closed, and there were savings. However, what we found is we've had deficit budgets in previous years, meaning those funds went to balance the budgets in previous years. In addition, I am still paying bills from last year. I am paying bills from the year before. That's where that money is going, unfortunately. So as of right now, that's where the savings is being found. But my hope is that we're going to have additional savings with transportation at the very least. However, we also know, every single person in here knows, healthcare is on the rise. Not only that, because this winter is a little unprecedented for down here, that means our energy bills are going up. So hopefully we find some balance, hopefully we have a few dollars left from the savings to support, and then the goal would be to develop those unique programs, such as Montessori. I would love to bring one of those buildings back online to have a Montessori program for our district. That would be something great. It's a draw. It definitely is something people believe in, and I know that it would improve or increase enrollment. So that's to answer your question about the 3 closed buildings. You're welcome.
So I didn't introduce myself. My name is Israel Williams, and I'm a parent of
Nice to meet you.
2 children in the district.
Thank you.
And then I just wanted to ask about the fiscal challenges that
Yes.
you mentioned. Could you kind of just expand on that? What we're up against as a community
Sure.
with those challenges?
So we're doing, since I started, I've put a lot of stopgaps in place. I have had to put some procedures in place as it pertains to overtime. No longer can people just say, I worked through my lunch, so I'm gonna get overtime. No, you have to get prior approval from me before you can attain that overtime. So that's something that I've noticed right away. We've spent a lot of money in overtime in this district. The fiscal continues to be challenging, and our fund balance has decreased, okay? The years and years of not levying taxes have actually had a large effect on our district. And while I know it's hard, but we're talking about academics and education of our children, and that has to be paramount. I think the outlook is looking a little better. Again, with the savings with transportation, it would be good to see or realize some actual additional funding.
Yes.
But I don't know what's going to happen as it pertains to healthcare and what was the other one? Healthcare and energy. Yes, and energy.
Want to address the elephant in the room?
Sure.
Do we anticipate a tax increase?
As of right now, I cannot actually say, okay? I honestly cannot say. I will say that whatever I have to produce in front of you, it will be as transparent as can be. And then I want to not only, if I say I have to do 1.0 or 1.5, I'm gonna show you where that 1.0 or 1.5 is going. Because I told you that I wanna bring back the gifted and talented programs. That's not free. I wanna bring back or make sure we improve our curriculum resources. That's not free. You get some aid back, but we're so outdated that we need to really catch up and catch up quick. That costs funds, and also, most important, it is very difficult to not do any type of increase when we have people on the front lines like our teachers, our administrators, our support staff, that automatically get 1.5 increase from one year to the next through the tribal agreement. And this is how, or part of the reason why, we are 4 contracts out of date. And I don't want to continue that. I am doing my part by planning for it, looking for where I can cut in the budget, the excess, the fat, the stuff that has nothing to do with children and learning. And then I will be able to make a decision and go out and say, this is what it is, this is why.
Thank you. Last question was the students with CTE. I don't have any information. Can you just expand on that a little bit?
Sure. CTE is career and technical education, and generally it starts in grade 7. Students are going to be actually mandated to take career and financial management, financial literacy, and that's going to be sort of a CTE type course. We have the automotive program, culinary program. At the high school, we actually have over 8 approved pathways. There are some pathways at DWSA that I'm interested in getting approved by New York State. For instance, stage. That stage construction, that can be an approved CTE program. If we do things like that, it increases the numbers of students that are actually enrolled, and then we are allowed or eligible for additional grants, one being the Perkins Grant. We have not had the Perkins Grant in some time because we sort of started doing away with the CTE programs. Our CTE director has really done a phenomenal job trying to put our CTE programs back on the map so that we actually get that Perkins funding, which relieves our general fund budget. So we also have to do a better job with our grants. And I'll make this very clear. I'm just gonna, years ago, we had COVID dollars. Those were dollars that were just given back. Unfortunately, that's another reality. We could have supplemented some of the items, taken some items out of the general fund and placed them in those grants before we sent it back. That hurts the district, okay? That hurts the district. We have to have a clear and concise plan for where our title dollars are going. Okay, that's federal monies. Where are those dollars going so we don't give anything back? We don't have items in our general budget and in the title budget because that is double budgeting, and that causes bloat in the general budget. So we really got to be careful about a lot of those things to make sure that we maximize our grant funding, grow our CTE program so we qualify for additional grants, and really bring us to the next level with our CTE programs. Thank you, same here. Great questions, you came prepared.
I'm glad you're at the helm.
No, thank you. And he was prepared, I was scared. Yes. More questions?
Bond rating, how is that?
Who?
Bond rating, is that increasing?
Bond rating, that I would have to get to you. And what's happening also is questions that I can't quite answer. We are going to have a FAQs form on our budget website that we will keep up with throughout the session so that you have access to that information. I know a lot about budget, but not all those deep details. Yes. I know our debt services are going down, whatever that is. I just heard that. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Uh-oh, you want to stand here too? No, come on.
No, just use the flyer. Jot, call me the pen.
Just put it up so they can. Yeah.
So I have 2 questions.
Yes.
One, how does the district plan to balance the equities for students with disabilities in the elementary school?
Yes. Great question. You hit this first with the continuum. So we've already started looking at the demographics across all of our schools. The first thing I asked for was the last thing I got when I came in. The first thing I asked for was, what is our special education program looking like for next year? Those classes have to be placed first. That is now being done. We also want to offer more than just one type of service in a building. Right now, this school, for instance, Graham, has integrated co-teaching. There's no self-contained classes, am I right? Or just one, because of space. But generally, schools have all like one type of program. However, you need to have space for students to move from most restrictive to least restrictive. So the goal was to create a continuum where that actually exists. We are going to be phasing 15-to-1 programs out, thank God, because many of those students are either 12-1-1 or they can be in an ICT. So, but if we have a 15-1 in a school, we would try to create or have a consultant teaching model or an integrated co-teaching model in the same school so that students can actually get different types of service when they need to. We have to start moving into a non-traditional way of creating individualized education plans. There are some classes where you can actually be in a general ed setting, integrated co-teaching class, because you are right on with that math. At the same time, you really are struggling with reading, you may need to go to that 12-1-1 class for reading. So it's all about how are we building schedules, being creative to truly meet the needs of students.
Just to piggyback on what you said, are schedules being changed to adjust to that now?
Not right now, in all cases, because it, one, disrupts, two, the program or the continuum isn't set up for that as of right now. So it would actually disrupt the child and the family. If I change the kids' program from 12-1-1 to 15-1, it's likely that kid would have to move from this school to this school. We want to stop that. The state actually puts corrective action plans in place when there's too much movement of students in the year because of a change in programming. So we want to really move away from that. So how can we offer the services that that child can get in that building and be successful without moving and disrupting the whole environment?
I'm sorry,
It's
not
okay.
my follow-up question.
It's all right.
So how soon could that actually be put in place?
The 2026-27 school year. That's why I said we started planning, SPED classes placed first, then place gen ed classes. That's how you ensure that the most vulnerable students are actually getting what they need prior to everyone else. Not saying we don't prioritize everyone, we prioritize all children. But typically, what has happened in this district and many others, I've seen it, all the gen ed students are rolled up, and then we have to find a space for special ed all over the place. And that's why the continuum is not consistent and students are hopping from one place to another.
Thank you for that response.
Sure.
My second question, how does the district entice scholars who can represent the district well to remain in the district past the middle school years?
Part of my legislative priorities is really extra funding so that I can get 2 models of international baccalaureate programming. I would like 1 school designated on the south side, 1 school designated on the north side. They would have the primary years program, start small, kindergarten, 1, 2, they get that extra robust curriculum. And then they would be able to feed into the International Baccalaureate program that we have at the high school. Currently, those classes are very small. And I hate to take away those high-quality experiences from our students. However, it's not sustainable if we don't have a pipeline. So I need to grow the program out to actually do this. In addition, I also said that I am very interested, lots of districts have at least 1 Montessori school. And Montessori starts at 3, the 3-4-year class, and then they go all the way up. And a lot of times those students are like, whoa, like ready to go. But our district does not at the moment. So I am looking at how we can do that. And that also may mean filling our schools up with students that may want to come here from the suburbs. Because I know that our teaching here in this district is quality, in my opinion. There are quality teachers in our district that it's one of those things, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And these people are making it here. So how do we get individuals from the outside community to come fill our buildings, giving preference to Mount Vernon residents first, but we have enough individuals to actually fill a school so that we can offer those have those programmatic offerings.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And you know what, one last question. We are also moving back to having Denzel Washington School of the Arts and STEAM. Those will be the schools that really start looking for students in the 6th grade. So we won't have students that actually don't like arts go to Denzel just because they're in the area, because then it takes away the fidelity of the program. Same thing with STEAM. If you have students that really don't care about robotics and science and math, like, you don't want to send them there, because then it's just going to impact the learning of students that really want to be there for that. And we need to find a plethora of programs that are going to entice our students all over. And that also includes enhancing the curriculum to give those students opportunities like CTE, like STEM, like arts, in all of our schools, not just some. More questions? You do? You know you gotta use this. No, you gotta use this. I can't hear. I can't hear. Here, Ms. Anderson.
Okay, I just have a simple question. Are we planning to have a community school in this district?
Great question. We do have one community school right now, and that is Williams, okay? I am a big proponent of the community schools model, considering our school district is a walking district. All of our schools probably should be community schools. I want to see food pantries in all of our schools. I want to see mental health services be able to be provided in all of our schools. I want to see all those things. And I ran a community school when I was a principal. So it's near and dear to my heart, and it does actually change the lives of not just the child, but the family as a whole. And there may be ways to actually allocate funding so that we can do some Saturday programs in a few of our schools, maybe one or two, so that they have that community school model. I mentioned one of my core beliefs is that a child's zip code does not determine their ability to learn. The best way to get students to actually get to the school that's closest to them, which would likely make it more successful, is to go to a school that's close to them. Not have to go to a school on the other side of town to get the same education that they should be getting at the school that's right across the street from them. So we really have to enhance that. But yes, I'm looking at that. Oh, alert. I already had principals allocate funds for field trips next year in their budgets. I want to see our babies going on field trips. Yes, that's transportation and for admissions, because our PTAs can't do it all. They're good at helping, but they can't do it all right? So I actually opened up that line for principals to allocate a specific amount of funds in the field trip line so that they can take their kids on field trips. Okay?
I just thought of another question. Grab being the school that it is, it has this wonderful playground here that is full in the summertime and in the fall. But that soccer field could be used for the kids. How do we plan to utilize it for the children?
What soccer field?
The soccer field right outside.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes, I'm talking about, but there's a lot of.
oh, well, Well, here's the issue. I have made too many decisions where I'm like, do I fix the heater or do I fix the soccer field? And I'm not saying that, both can't happen, but sometimes both can't happen, yes.
So the soccer field is in wonderful condition. This past summer, some
Is it owned by us?
families,
No?
right,
Oh.
some Hispanic families came together and filled the gap that was there, the hole that was from a tree that was removed, but it was initially built.
Yes.
And they filled it so that the kids wouldn't fall into the ditch, right? And they've been using it all summer. But the kids are not using it. And it's a junior-sized soccer field. And I feel as though that they should be using that soccer field. They should have the opportunities to learn how to be disciplined, how to be, a team member, and all the positive things that can come out of playing soccer.
So that'll be a great piece in terms of gathering feedback, because I would like to see more modified programs across our schools so that students we could offer soccer as a program. I'm not sure if we do that. Only in high school we're offering it. So bringing the modified sports down to at least 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, that can be done, but that costs dollars. And in terms of if the soccer field is there, well, they can't play now because it's all probably ice. They can go ice skating though. They probably, no, I love the suggestion. I'm sure when it gets warmer, some folks might take them over there. So if it's not off limits, it's not off limits.
Maybe offer a permit for someone who is already able to train the kids in soccer?
So we do offer permits. You can actually go to our facilities and grounds department at the educational office and fill out a permit. Any more questions? Y'all got 1 hour until my bedtime. So, yes, 8:30. Yes.
So I came in late, so I
Yes,
wanted
and
to
then
go
yes.
over
Yes.
the infrastructure part of it and the priority. I mean,
Sure.
and my question is, I understand the priority with teachers, because that's really your retention for staff, and I also understand the curriculum. But infrastructure, like the heat, you mentioned a little bit to the heater earlier, and having the students be in the comfort of the building, there's so many reported cases of the classroom being too cold.
Yes.
Unprecedented weather, but also in the summertime, it's too hot. So what is being done, and what's the plan for those things?
So
We need our kids to be comfortable to learn.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's why I stated, I've been meeting with the commissioner, the legislators, to see what capital improvement funds they can give us so I can actually really fix it and not just put a Band-Aid on it. Because too often in our district, we're just putting Band-Aids on things instead of actually getting to the root of the problem, fixing it, and then it's good. And then our maintenance plan of things are not good. That's why technology has been an issue. Students, they might have a computer, but the computer take 15 minutes with the little circle to actually turn on. So what we did was we did a good job at purchasing the computers, but then we didn't do a good job at making sure that we attended to those computers because we know the shelf life of a computer. In the United States, they say that the average American has a car no more than 5 years. Guess what? Your computers start acting up. I mean, sometimes it's like the second week, 3 weeks, 3 days, you know what I mean? So we have to do a good job with maintenance. That's the technology infrastructure, planning for how we are going to purchase down the line so that we're never in this predicament again. but also what we have to really get to the nuts and bolts in our buildings to really bring them up to this century's, what this century is calling for. That's going to be very important.
And I have one more.
Sure.
Parent engagement.
Yes,
Now, I know there have been complaints.
Yes.
About how parents are communicating to make sure they're attending events. And honestly, for me, I haven't seen the email communication. Yes, email go out and we do the robocalls. But what are changes, how are you thinking about trying to get parents more engaged? Because if the current methods that are being used are not really fruitful, like when do you decide how you change your method of trying to get parents to be more engaged?
so every week I do the Jewel Box, where I'm trying to highlight our students, our staff, what's happening in the district. That comes out faithfully every Friday. You can view it on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, if you follow us there. That's one way. That's a little glimpse. Parent Involvement Day is actually on Monday next week at each school. So every school has sent me a schedule of what their events are going to be. That's how we're getting involved. But also I said, getting involved doesn't just mean, helping with the PTA and things of that nature. It's also about how do you help us pick the right curriculum? How do we help you work with your child at home? We have to have a well-rounded approach about what parent engagement is. It's not really just me, it's everyone. And here's the thing, if I'm not reaching, I'm always here for suggestions. Hey, you know what would be even better if? And I'm here for it. Every month I also have the Jewel Collection, which is a monthly newsletter, just gives you the updates for the month, like what's coming up. Report cards should be coming out next week, just an FYI. And I'm open to anything. I've been meeting with our PTA monthly. That has been right on my schedule. We have good conversations. They give me feedback, I give them feedback. They tell me what I can do better. I say, this is how you can partner better. So getting involved with your PTA also helps me on the back end as well.
And I guess I should have probably worded my question a little different in that over the years, and this is from my understanding from communicating with a lot of parents, that trust issue has been broken.
Oh, yes.
And how do you bring them back to say, can you trust the process and have them more engaged, knowing that historically they haven't been, whatever their issues were like swept under the rug.
Absolutely.
How can I trust that this is actually going to work this time? How do you bring them back into the fold of that conversation?
You do it by doing things like this. I put a survey out there, I get your priorities, and then I'm showing you how I'm investing in the priorities that you feel are most important. Then I come back with the numbers, and I say, this is the numbers. These are where we are. Too often that something doesn't happen or something doesn't make sense, and I'm not about that. I'm really about integrity and trust. And, the only way I can further garner that support of parents is meeting you where you are. I don't mind. Again, your children see me in their schools. They officially are like, hey, that's the superintendent, and they wave. They come home and tell you they saw me. Like, hey, just, ask me a question or what have you. You can always send an email at superintendent@mtvernon.csd.org. I don't get back to all of those because when I tell you I probably have about 200 emails waiting for me when I get home. It's going to be hard to get to bed at 8:30. But I'm here for whatever your suggestions are. Okay? Sure. No, I thought you, ma'am?
I have a student at STEAM, and I see that there needs to be more creativity as far as improvements of various things. Is that a microphone? And I'm just thinking, is there a person in the administration that is available for creative funding, sourcing? You know, I'm looking at, we need a curtain there for the auditorium, we need some fixing of the field, it's terrible out there. There's so many things in that school that seems to be not addressed. And I see a lack of clubs. At the same time, I see a lot of students that would have energy to learn something new that improves their community. And there is, you know, just one example, there's the Climate Action Fund, that there's money where they're looking for students to make difference as far as sustainability, and that could be a project for the landscaping. You know, if we put the dots together right, with a bit of creativity in mind and the right folks who are like connecting the dots for a little bit non-conventional funding, I think we could achieve those gaps where we don't hear any movement as far as progress at this stage from, you know, those there. It seems to be in a little bit of a difficult state right now as far as hope.
It is in a difficult state. I'm sorry, are you finished?
Yeah.
It is in a difficult state. But remember, I told you, we get grants that we haven't even allocated. Like mandatory, like they come from the federal government, it's guaranteed. Yet we don't spend those appropriately. So if I bring in other monies, what am I going to do with that? You know what I mean? We have to get the stuff that's guaranteed on track first before I then go leverage for additional funds and try to get more money, or it's going to just not get used.
Okay.
So again, I'm looking at a lot of capital improvement projects. Again, I wish Mount Vernon was a part of the facilities modernization program. That's what the big 5 cities, school districts, they get this money to spend to just transform their buildings. We have to do bonds. Like, I mean, it's just, it makes it difficult because we need voter support, and then we need community support, and it's just very hard. But infrastructure is huge, and as I said before, we have to stop putting Band-Aids on everything, because what it is then it's just breaking further, and now you need a whole new thing instead of you fixing it right that first time, and you have it for more years. So we have a lot to do. We can also start integrating that into the curriculum. Teachers are very creative. One of my pillars that I stand for is innovation. I want us to be innovative. We have to be innovative. As a 5th grade teacher, a former 5th grade teacher, I remember my 5th grade boys did news reports on the weather. They studied the weather patterns, they studied what was happening over time, and then they gave a 5-day forecast. That's being creative. That's actually, you know, getting them real world experiences, and it takes all of us to do that. But once we get our current grants and our current budget in order, then we could start adding more funds to our budget so that we can do all of those other things. Yes?
I guess, I don't know.
It won't fit. This.
So,
Can we put people at home? I'm sorry, can the questions be, like how we started, can they come up?
Yeah.
would you like for me to
Well,
come?
for the community who's behind the screen.
That's fine. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
Good seeing you
So
again.
good to see you.
Yes.
I have one comment and a question. So the topic came up on parent engagement.
Yes.
And you mentioned even just thinking about creative funding, you just mentioned that. So I'm on a board of trustees for a private school upstate. And we've been also struggling with parent engagement, so it's not just here. And one model is you telling us what you need from us. So I think that we do have, outside of grant funding and balancing the budget, we do have parents who could possibly fill in some gaps because we want to. Our kids are in this, here, they're in the district, and we want to be able to contribute somehow. So understanding where there's possibilities for parents who can provide that, I think that would be great as a part of the parent engagement model. So I just wanted to share that.
Wonderful.
My question, it's going to be a loaded question. So after balancing the budget,
Yes.
how long do you think, in real terms, would you be able to even achieve the first 5 priorities that you've set out here for us? Like, what's a realistic timeline?
Very good question. Very difficult question. I know that a contract is 4 years, but I don't want it to just end in 4 years because the only real way to create sustainable change is to have consistency. The minute there's turnover, it disrupts the entire system. And it really messes things up. I am like on full throttle trying to make sure that we achieve everything. As my colleague just stated, parents, I'm going to need your support in helping with our strategic planning process. What does the next 5 years look like for the Mount Vernon City School District? Also, I would say this. I was just even at Graham at holiday time, and the amount of parents that were here was remarkable. So when we say parent engagement, we have to honestly start being specific too. So when I used to have parent engagement as one of my big priorities, it wasn't that they're not engaged. I wanted them to engage in academics. So how do I teach them what their children are learning in school so that they can continue to do that at home? Enough of that's not happening. So I have a few different thoughts and ideas about, changing report card night. Instead of report card night, how about we teach the parents what we're doing in class and send you home with a kit and you do it with your child? That's more powerful because they will come out when Johnny and Susie are playing basketball or are doing the yearly musical. But then report card night, that's when we're like, what's going on here? So it's a multifaceted approach. And again, my biggest piece is stakeholder engagement. So when we go to adopt a curriculum, parents have to be on that committee. Is the resources or the materials parent-friendly for you to access? Those things need to happen. If they don't, it's absent of you, and then once again, you're left out the process. You're welcome. Why? Listen, people just, raise your hand if you've been getting robocalls like crazy. Like, I don't know what's going on. And, geez, sorry. Thank you for your participation. Any other questions? Oh,
Regarding the robocalls.
yes,
Because there's a way for parents to opt out.
Yes.
There's been communication out there saying if you opt out, this is how you opt back in.
okay,
So they could re-enroll.
yes.
There are parents who have.
I agree. Parents have opted out. This is why I also have encouraged our leaders, and I will continue to actually do their own robocall because you won't necessarily opt out of a robocall that comes from the school. Okay? And also, I've been asking our district clerk to use the texting option. I don't know if you opt out and you are opting out of the whole thing, But sometimes I'll just send a text. I mean, I will send a text with that robocall. That's how I was able to work after COVID with bringing children back to school. I had 2/3 of my community respond because I sent a text message with a form, and they was ready for their babies to come back. I'm telling you. But I will find out how you opt back in.
As a follow-up to that too, generally those software comes with some type of reporting metrics.
Yes.
Say, how many are not received, like how many open?
Yep, yep.
I don't know, I've asked in the past, and I was told those tools are not so list of they're not purchased with the software. I don't know if that's been corrected since then, but if it is anyone looking at those reports to say, are we reaching the intended audience, how many are opening say, let's change the processes.
That's a great question. I can honestly tell you that most of those programs, it comes with reviewing the data. Because, yeah, so I'm being transparent with you. I don't know about our district. However, most of those items do come with data. And that's something that our communications team and our board clerk can look into for me, and maybe we can find a different mode. Yep, oh, we do? Yes, thank you, Principal McGregor. Thank you. So we do.
I sent out a message just the other day, 494 recipients, and 81% delivered.
Good. So then that's saying, that's why her auditorium was packed.
And then for the ones that, say if it was, because it should tell too, if I didn't reach the intended receipt, how many did you fail? So at least you have an idea to say, hey, these parents are not getting my messages. Is it possible that their contact information is updated?
Actually, that's generally what it is. So I would say, parents, if you change your phone number, you gotta go to the school and get it updated. We can't get it to you, like, you know what I mean? You gotta tell us so that we update the information in Infinite Campus so that we get the latest up-to-date information for you. So those things need to happen. Anything else?
Current issue,
Go.
the snow at some of the school grounds, and how it's not, delaying cleaning up.
It's,
sidewalks.
so,
Quite a report.
the sidewalk,
Not just the sidewalk.
I was gonna say,
In some of the schools, there's been a lot, and it took a while to clear the area.
so I met with the custodians myself the weekend before we actually had the snow, and they were out there on Saturday and Sunday cleaning their buildings, even on Monday. On Tuesday, I even came back to make sure that I saw what was happening is it was coming down so much, and then you plow, and then guess what? It was plowing into the area that was already done, so they had to reclean. Listen, one of my folks, and actually at Benjamin Turner, he said, "Soup, good look, you coming out here to see what's going on?" And I said, "Absolutely," because I needed to know. But it's been a big hassle this year in general. And again, hate to say it, Yonkers was no better. There's places that were really, really rough. And now, we're just doing the best we can, but we're responsible for our sidewalks. The city is responsible for the streets, even the streets in front of the schools. Okay? Need to make it very clear. Even in front of the schools, that is not the school's priority. I mean, it's not our prerogative, okay?
And that has to be fixed too, so it's a twofold, you're right.
Well, yeah. There's a lot of cars on the road too. It's been people double parking all over the place. Stop lights optional. Stop clickers optional. Yep. I've been very much inducted to Mount Vernon. Yes.
Because there was a message that was sent out that the mayor was reaching out to the school district, finding out the schools needed to be cleaned up. That was posted on social media. So my question was that communication ever done? Because as a parent, it was very disturbing that I had to lift my child out of the car a 10-year-old and climb over piles of snow just to get her onto the sidewalk to get into the school. And as a parent, I felt like this should be unacceptable. The first areas we should be cleaning up are our schools and our hospital.
Correct.
So why is it that after a storm, I have to climb over piles of snow? Just, the ramp was not even open, so if a child was in a wheelchair, there was no way to get that child over that ramp because it was piled up with snow.
Yeah,
So if the social media is posting that, hey, we're reaching out to the school districts to find out which schools needs to be cleaned, and we're still, today is what day? And some of those schools still have piles of snows. Even when I came out here, I pulled up in front of the school, and the entrance that was only clear, there was a car parked right there. I had to climb over piles of snow just to get up the steps. So where is the communication?
so the communication is actually happening. I just actually, in my presentation, told people when we cancel school, I'm not just saying, oh, I'm not feeling like going to work today, so we're canceling school. No, this is a multi-person decision-making process. I talked to the mayor, talked to the department or the commissioner of the Department of Public Works, talked to my facilities person. What happens is every time we shovel, then if the city comes and plows, it pushes it back. We do, and I will bring this up at a custodian meeting, need to try to make sure we keep up so that people do have pathways from the street to get onto the sidewalk. But now alternate side of the street parking started up again. So that means when they clear the one side, that's gonna go right back up on the sidewalk. And that's what's constantly happening. But I'm gonna tell you this, social media ain't always telling the truth. Okay, but I want to be very clear. The mayor and I,
Sorry to interrupt, but what I'm feeling is that our system is not working in terms of clearing the snow. So other towns are basically saying, don't park on the side of the road today, and they're getting trucks and they're picking up the snow. So why is that not possibly to be done in our school district, at least where the schools are?
so I know that the main roads were the priorities. Then they went to the secondary roads. And then most of our schools are on those secondary roads. And again, every time they plow, it's gonna push it right back up. What I will do is make sure our custodial staff is trying to clear a pathway from the nice part of the sidewalk to the street for when people are getting out of cars and things. And that's really all I can say. I can do my part on our end, that's my solution, but ultimately, that's sounding off for everyone. Anything else? Well, I'm gonna thank you. Thank you all for your participation. Thank you for coming out. If you want, next time, I'm at Mount Vernon High School, but let's talk 3, that's when I present numbers. And what I will ask you is bring a friend. Bring a friend, because we should have more people out here, all right? We definitely should. Again, it's not just my budget, it's all of our budget, and it's how we are going to transform our school system. So with that being said, thank you, and have a great night.